Welcome to Fireteam, Chad, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you yet again for joining us. And if you're new, thank you for checking out our show. On my left is CJ Gibson. Your right. On my right, your left, is Sean Finnegan.
Hello, everyone.
Sean, how are you doing today?
Good. Glad to be back.
Yeah, me too.
You're always good at doing that, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep it straight, but nicely done.
Camera left. Yeah. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Trials of Osiris. It came back. We've been seeing some of the drops, some of the gear. We know Iron Banner's on its way back next week. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the changes that came to Destiny recently, for better or for worse. And we're going to talk about one of the best experiences in the game Destiny, and that's the raid. Sean asked me to set him up for a really bad movie joke off camera.
Not even gonna say it. This is all fiction.
Bro character.
Fiction that Destin spun
and
up.
I was like, how can I screw it up for him?
And you totally did.
I like the raid.
It's a great movie, isn't
There it is. I see
You
what did
recommended
there.
it. It is a fantastic movie, but we're here to talk about Destiny, and I think we're going to start with the raid, actually.
Cool.
It's
The
fun.
raid is awesome.
It's really good.
So that is like, I think, Rise of Iron's. I mean, I don't think I'm alone in saying this. I think that's the biggest strength of Rise of Iron, right? Like
Yes.
Raid, it's pretty short comparatively, but the mechanics are really fun. The design of it is really cool.
Yes,
Like
the art.
basically every room I walk into, I'm looking around being like, this is so cool,
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
Especially like the lead up, I guess it's a lead down, the big ramp to the big cube right before the first boss, before you take the big jump.
Spoilers, if you haven't
It's
played
so
this yet.
sci-fi and so
Yeah.
cool. It's like this big red glowing box, and you're like, it feels very ominous. Like you
Yeah.
get this very HAL 9000 feel, and I'm like, it feels cool, man. Like it makes me excited to fight these guys. I'm like super stoked on the raid. I've raided every day, minus the 2 days where I was out of town on assignment for IGN. I've raided every day on both characters, just for the fun of it, like not even to get gear, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's very
Definitely. CJ, your thoughts?
It was awesome. I'm trying to remember the vaulted glass feeling that I have. There were still moments in that where I go, okay, there's just different mechanics there that I still find myself going, I miss those mechanics. But overall, the theme was a ball. Like that was like, you know, the bomb and the throwing mechanic.
Huck and balls.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. Yeah.
I like it.
The first time you did it, you're like, nah, and that feeling.
You dunk on the boss,
Yeah.
and
You dunk on the boss,
you
you
do
toss your
3-pointers at the
three-point
beginning.
Huck it,
Yeah.
chuck it,
But it's
ball.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
But the way it feels is actually super fun. Like that moment you had when you first grab one, you're like, "What do I do with this?" And you're like, "Yeah, throw it at that guy." All right, here we go. Oh,
Yeah.
third person. And
Yeah.
throwing it. It was
It's
really
very,
cool,
very
so.
fun.
It's
Yeah, it was
also-
a really, really well done raid.
It's also like kind of a skill shot, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes that boss will just take one step when you weren't expecting it, and your ball goes flying right by him, and you feel so dumb.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part
like,
is that
I
you
missed.
can watch
Yeah.
everybody else doing it, and you're
Yeah.
like,
You missed.
"You
bro.
missed." Yeah, we saw that.
No, I hit him. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
We all saw.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if
That's
you
really
look,
good.
if you look at the way it was designed in comparison to Vault of Glass, I can't remember the second one. Crota's End.
Yeah,
Dark
Crota's
Was
End.
it
Below.
Dark Below?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
And then
it's called Crota's End, right?
it was Dark Below.
The-
and
no,
I
but the
believe
Dark
it
Below is
was-
the DLC.
Yeah,
the
that's
name
right.
of the DLC.
Yeah.
The raid is called Crota's End.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm
And
not
then,
making this up. I think I'm right.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the last one, those two are kind of like you're fighting demons. Basically, you're fighting a big demon in the shape of Oryx and his son before that. And the first one's like you're fighting like time robots, but it's very
Yeah,
glass.
time traveling robots.
Glass and teleportation and stuff like that.
Uh,
This one, it's like the reason I really like it. And sorry, I'll let you make your point
Oh,
in
no,
just a
no,
second. This one I really like. It's because it is a group of characters that have enhanced themselves and almost lost control of their sense of self. And I made a joke, like we saw the final boss on stream, and I'm like, at what point did he think maybe I've gone too far with my Siva implementation? So Siva's like, hey, all right, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to like cut you in half, but, and he's like, I don't know about that. They're like, well, what if we gave you cool spider legs?
He was
he's
like,
like,
whoa,
I'm in,
cool.
I'm in. That sounds awesome.
He's like, I get
Right.
2 more. Don't they already have 6 arms total? The captains?
Yes, yeah.
I get
He's like
2 more
selling you
arms
on
or
the
2 more
vacation.
limbs.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sold. Yeah, it's hard to say how the raid, because it's so fresh and so new right now, how it stacks up versus the other raids. I think I definitely like it better than Crota's End. I don't know if I like
like
it
the
better
length.
than.
Yeah.
You like the length.
Yes.
Yeah,
See, like for me, I kind of wish it was longer. Like, so I'm selfish. I want everything in Rise of Iron to be longer, including the campaign. Like, just because I like it so much, I want more of it.
I agree on the campaign wholeheartedly.
The raid, I thought, like, from a mechanics perspective, isn't quite as complex as Vaults of Glass. Like,
No,
you and me were
exactly.
talking about this, CJ, the other day, but, like, on the Atheon encounter, the whole, like, randomization of teleporting to different
Yes.
planets, like, adds, like, this
That takes
depth.
practice.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
takes practice, even for seasoned Guardians. And, like, this isn't quite as mechanically complex. Like, we both, I don't know about you guys, I don't know if you were able to raid on day one, CJ, but, like, both you and
second
me,
day.
our fire teams found out the mechanics pretty easily on day one and executed well enough to finish it. And so it's like, I wish it was a little deeper, but it is emphasizing that, like, speed of play and precision of play, because you can't miss your slam, or you can't be just like 10 feet too far, or else you will not make it in time. And I kind of like the urgency that adds to the raid. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that Vault of Glass stuff, like, that was the piece where if you got teleported and you're trying to shield the people who are lower light, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know? And in this situation, there's a lot of forgiving moments. Like, in the final raid, you can almost die at any point in it and potentially still be okay.
On normal mode.
On normal mode.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works after hard mode gets released. But that was a piece of the puzzle. Like, if you died in Vault of Glass, like, in the early part, you're like, wipe. This one, you're just kind of like, oh, you died at a good spot. You know, you died at a good time. We might be able
like
to
right in
recover
the
from
beginning.
this.
Right in the beginning, it's like, okay, the bosses aren't even out yet. I think I can hold this spot.
Yeah.
We're gonna be okay.
Or if you don't make it to, like, that clean light platform or whatever before, you know, the boss, like,
does this
Steven
thing.
movie.
Yeah, it's like,
On
okay,
the-
that's a good time.
Yeah.
On the first couple of runs, it was like you needed every single one of those platforms and damage phases to go perfectly, or else you weren't going to do the damage you needed to get him to where you needed to be.
Yeah.
After now leveling up a little bit and getting some of the really cool raid weapons. By the way, the scout rifle is amazing.
It's really, really good.
It's
especially
so good. Yeah.
Especially for the raid.
What's it called? Chaos Dogma.
I think that's the
No,
no.
it's
Okay.
called Chaos Dogma.
What's
Can't
the
remember,
auto?
yeah.
Genesis Chain.
Yes,
Chain.
you're right. Yeah,
Yes,
right. Yeah.
So, side note, if you don't have the scout rifle, it's basically a better version of Hung Jury. Like, if you consistently land your precision shots, you can get up to 45 shots. Me and Brian counted.
It has
It's
triple.
crazy.
It has triple double. You can also increase the magazine size. I think that gives you even more rounds.
Exactly.
To hit them with, because it's like you fire 3 rounds, but then you get 2 of them back on that third hit. So third precision hit. It is very, very lethal.
Yeah, and just anything that you're shooting, any time that you're shooting at something that doesn't move all that much and you can consistently land precision shots, it's such a high sustained DPS. Like, we just primary down the boss most of the time now. Like, sometimes on that third teleport phase, we'll do the throw the Titan bubble and then, like,
Do
Hunter,
tether,
and then blow all of your Galahorn shots. But it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. DPS phase is the most important on that. Well, not dying is the most important thing. And then DPS phase, when you get there, tether, bubble, and hit them with that. But on the third round, hit with the Scorch Cannon, charge it for like 1,000, 2,000, detonate.
Exactly.
It does
40K
like
damage, right?
Well, it does like 90 if you've touched
Fully charged, right?
No, just like for the 2 seconds. You hold it for like 2 seconds. If you just hit them, it's like 40.
Yeah.
But if you hit them and charge it for a little bit, and you can dump all 3 cannons in with a weapons bubble and a tether, it does 125,000 damage points.
Yeah.
Wow.
A rocket.
And
Yeah.
what light
So
level
good.
are you at?
That's at most light levels. I think on my lower side, when I was around 365, it was still doing 100.
Wow.
Or close to it.
That's pretty crazy.
So
Yeah, so like to round that back out, my original thought was like mechanically, once your DPS gets high enough, which I think most people who've been running the raid since it opened, their DPS is now high enough for normal mode. You can screw up those, like the slamming phase. Like we regularly will screw up at least one just because we're noobs, and we still have the DPS to kill them without one of those platforms.
Yeah.
Where you just waste a platform essentially.
we would be doing the raid in Injustice if we didn't talk about the phenomenal hidden room.
Yeah, dude.
And
The whole
what
thing.
it
Not
entails to unlock that,
Not
and
just
that whole
stuff,
quest
but
line
all
for
of
the
hidden
exotic
stuff.
pulse.
Yeah, all of the hidden
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
and secrets are so cool
Yes.
in that. Like,
And how they came about. Like, I remember you
Yes.
saying, I watched some of your stream after I think you and I were actually flying back when it happened on the airplane. I was like, what did you find? And then you were in the middle of going.
So
So-
I was literally at the part going. So when Dado was the first person in the world who found this, right? And I'm literally at my stream. I'm like, man, I know there's something in the secret room. Like, let's all gather by the door. And I'm about to go. And somebody in my chat, Xavier, he's just like, wait, Dado just solved it. don't move. I'm like, everybody stop. Like the whole team except me is through the door. And so we all stopped and we figured out this puzzle like right around the time it was being solved. It was such an exciting moment.
That's cool.
It's
It was so cool. And then
because-
it opened and I lost my mind.
You're talking about the big cube here?
The big
Yeah.
cube opened. And
So
then,
like I remember the first time my group ran through it, we were like, something has to happen
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
raid,
This area.
right? But we were in this area, right? Because it's so big and it's pretty complex and well designed. You're like,
And all you did was kill Shanks, and you're like, oh, what's happening now? And you
Yeah.
just ran through it, and it's like,
Yeah.
there's more to this.
like
Yeah.
there's the maze
Yeah.
and then there's the actual like platforms with all the little like
Computers.
cylindrical
Pillars.
things,
Yeah.
right? And then we'd previously seen broken monitors, like monitors are a theme, so we were looking out for those. We didn't really know what was going on, and we were really just at that point we were really just trying to get through it as fast as we could. But yeah, man, like what well hidden secrets. I don't know how people wrap their heads around this stuff. Like I can't figure this stuff out.
There
at
were
all.
Reddit threads where like everybody's put in your unique sequence for this ARG that Bungie's been teasing, and they somehow laid them all out so it made an image which mapped the 4 cylinders you had to start on to start it. So I'm going to talk spoilers for the next about 2 minutes. So if you want to fast forward, here's how it works. So Reddit figured out the 4 cylinders you have to stand on to start it in that room. You stand on those. You have 2 people stay on the computers at opposite sides of the room. And then once you stand on those platforms, the computers turn on, and the left person needs to read their binary number that comes up.
You have to be able to read binary.
Yeah, and then you translate that into English. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the other guy translates his number from binary into a number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then there's quadrants on the wall 0, 1, 2, 3, and it goes counterclockwise. You start at 0 and go 1, 2, 3, and so the guy in the computer room will read off his binary to real number, which will be like 3. So you go to column 3. They're labeled on the wall.
Yeah.
Column 3.
They're basically coordinates.
Yeah, column 3
Yeah.
in section 0, and then he's like, all right, number 4. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's up to 5. And then you stand there, and you wait a little bit, and then it turns on.
It lights up.
Yeah. And then you do that 4 times, and then like there's a loud
The
noise,
whole
then it
cube
opens.
opens.
It's so
And
exciting.
there's
Like
a
just
little hidden
thinking
chest
about
in
it.
there, and
Yeah.
I get an exotic out of it every
Yes.
time.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
you get an emblem too. You get a really cool emblem, the
Yep.
Siva puzzle or something like that. I can't
Yeah,
remember
it's
the
like
exact name.
it's a little like red squares.
Yeah.
Cube or
They're
diamond.
cool.
I
Yeah.
really like it. It was such a cool moment.
Hidden stuff like that is really what is so rewarding for like longtime Guardians, because you spend a lot of time in these locations, and then to have something totally new come out of left field at a part that you've already been at, there are no feelings quite like that in other
Yeah.
games. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And that again, we go back to the Vault quest. It was that quest when you walked through Vault of Glass again for like the second or third time, you're like, oh, there's like a portal over here. Like those moments when you play a game and played through the raid, 2 or 3 times before you found that?
Yeah.
It's crazy that happens and you go, I know there's something, and you're just not focused on it, and then just jumps out at you. Like, that's amazing. I love that stuff.
CJ, you raid with me, and I've discovered something about myself. There's 2 modes where I don't want to joke around and I want to be serious, and I'm like, we need to work as a team. If nobody's taking leadership, I will be the leader, but if somebody wants to lead, that's fine too. But it's the raid and trials.
Yeah.
You need somebody to coordinate the whole team and make sure everybody's on the right page. Who's left? Call out left empowerment.
Yeah.
Call out center. If 2 people call out center, one of you switch to right. And be locked in those positions and don't screw up. It's
And we did
yeah.
a one and done run that time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we wiped the whole time.
You didn't tell me you had never done it.
I know.
So
What?
I know. I didn't.
he did pretty well.
CJ.
He did
Didn't
pretty
die.
well. It was CJ Panda and a group of other people that I play with regularly.
Because I did the mechanics with another group of mine, and we pretty much had him down to that like point where he was dying and they couldn't finish. And I was like, okay, well, I'm in this position where if I just kind of play good, and I mean, I don't mind being the type B guy going in and listening to the commands. I'm like, I'm totally fine with that. In this situation, I'm just like, I'm not going to tell anybody. And then when we beat it the one and done run, I was like, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was good.
Yeah.
And then you got your emblem, and they were like, "Wait, what?
I know.
You've never done this
like,
before?"
Nothing. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun, man. I mean, and figuring out that whole quest line too with that primary exotic. That was.
I
super
definitely
Yeah,
want to
so-
I talked to you about this. I want to get a crew together. We're going to run every Tuesday at 8, do all 3 runs, probably an hour each. Just get
Done.
it out
Get
of the way.
people that
for sure.
exotic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have the second quest. It's what is it called? Be the battery. It's like after you unlock it in the raid. I haven't gotten the exotic yet. You did get it. We're
Yes,
not talking
the
about
the
what is
new
it called?
Pulse?
something Prime, Outbreak Prime.
Yeah. Dude, I got it.
It's really good.
It is really good. I heard its
it's really
Hawksaw
good.
archetype. Its rate of fire is higher than any pulse that I have, and it sends out these Siva swarms.
Right.
People are using it in trials because it sends out Siva swarms, and they track the other people on the team. So you kill a guy, he explodes in the Siva swarms, then it tracks the other guys.
Yeah.
It is a beast,
That
and it
sounds awesome.
drops. It drops at 390,
Regardless of your light level.
390,
Yeah.
regardless of your light
That's
level.
cool.
That's really cool. Me and Brian are going to be working on the quest this weekend. He has to raid again tonight because we went into a raid yesterday and we messed up, courtesy of one bagel noob. To call you out because Brian was pissed. It was so funny. I was laughing because Bagel kept trying to like smooth it over, but Brian would not have any of it. He wanted to get in that raid to get that quest, and then when we couldn't do it, he was pissed. But
So just real quick, did you play Trials yet with it? Where somebody was using it?
Other people were using it and they were wrecking.
Yeah.
It's a very good weapon. I
can't
can't believe it works well in not only PvE but PvP.
So, and that's a question. Does it work too well?
It's not a
Yeah,
Vex.
so-
It's not a Vex Mythic class.
it seems like it was one of you who was telling me that it's so powerful that it's bound to get nerfed like eventually.
I mean,
We'll
I think
see.
in PvP, that's where the issue, I think, is going to be. Like, when you can potentially be huddled up in an area and then have a gun that kind of chases everybody away. It's like Axiom Bolt. It's like one of those things where it's just, you run forever and you're like, oh,
It's
and
still coming.
It's still coming. So will it have that effect in Trials to the point that they nerf it? I mean, I don't know.
Basically, just don't group up too much in Trials and you're going to be fine.
True.
I know you play as a team, but you shouldn't be necessarily always right next to each other because then you got snipe, snipe, snipe.
But if three people at the same time are rocking that weapon, it's got to be one of those things where you just wonder, how is this? Like, this could be one of those things that, again, just changes, like, the PvP meta in a way that, like, we'll see. But I
Honestly,
have a feeling it could be.
The PvP meta right now is so, like, I think there isn't a meta right now because everyone's just trying to figure it all out. Like, I get killed by a different gun every single time.
Right now,
Yeah, right now it's insane.
Yeah, man, I tried it out, and I'm just kind of like, man, this feels pretty good. Oh, the rate of fire is pretty good. Oh, the reload's really good. Oh, I upgraded it. It says this thing's amazing. Like, it was just like little things, and it kept getting better and better and better in my mind. That said, while we're on the topic of PvP, we do have to talk about the fact that Trials is back.
Yeah.
I played it right before this. Thank you so much to Elite and Alex, who randomly hopped on. I'm like, I need to play this before we talk about it on the show. Bounties have changed. There's more bounties that you can pick. And the rewards are hard to get. I think you got to get 20 wins for the gold package now, which is a challenge and some other stuff on that card.
Okay.
But Trials is back. It's great. I don't love the gear, but I haven't seen it in other shaders. I don't like the default one.
I just speaking here, I always look right at the Titan first because I'm a Titan primarily. I think the gear design looks cool. I don't love the color. That's what I love. That's like the whole
I have
blue
to see
and
it in
yellow.
other shaders.
Yeah, that's a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I was like, what if it looks amazing with like your God of War shaders?
different-
Minor note, props to Bungie for finally making it so that my lime green Titan mark now changes with shaders.
Yes.
My bath towel can finally fit in with the rest of my
there you go.
armor set.
I'm looking on
That's
Twitter
really
right
cool.
now to see if I can find anybody who's posted a roll of the weapons that have dropped or anything, but sorry. Yeah.
No,
Just
I
let
mean,
you know I'm not being rude and just being on my phone.
I like this. What's really cool, what I think is really cool about it is like if you have the old Trials of Osiris gear, you can collect the new stuff, but you don't necessarily have to use it because you can infuse stuff all the way up. Like I like the old Trials look.
Yeah.
And I mix and match a lot of gear. Like I won't use the Trials helm for Titans from the old days, but I'll use the Iron Banner one.
Yeah.
But then everything else is Trials.
I really liked all the old stuff from last Trials. I mean, it just had this look that was just very iconic. So hopefully, I mean, I might have to mix and match too because I'm not super excited about that stuff yet. But yeah, I guess we'll see once we get like Shaners and ornaments and that stuff into it. The Winged Word was a sniper that
That you were showing me before the show.
that dropped today for a friend of mine. So I'd be interested to see what that looks like. But it looks like a fairly high impact sniper and. Stability, and it's got a cool art design too. It's just really everything kind of looks like it's pre-manufactured, like just out back. They got these kind of it looks like bow ties and strings, and even some of them had like this. It's got like an animal fur attached to them. There's a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, with like the Iron
five
Banner
wins
wolf
is still
sort of
armor,
theme,
7's
aesthetic
weapons.
theme.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's actually speaking about weapon design real quick. the raid weapon design is really cool. Like at first, when I
Yes.
first got the drop of the scout rifle, I was like, wait, why is it an Omelon?
Yeah.
and then you upgrade it.
And then you upgrade it, and it gets all
It looks
Siva-fied.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
like glowing. It's got like essentially like blood vessels like
Yeah.
connected to that open part on the top, the canister or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of the guns. Like I also have the raid shotgun, which by the way, the raid shotgun's really good too.
Yeah, it is good.
At least
It's
I
okay.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like kind of a slow reload time,
Yeah.
but it does a lot of damage. And the battle runner / running interference perks actually are super noticeable.
You know what's super noticeable in the raid?
What?
When you wear the raid gauntlets and you have heavy all over the
everywhere.
place.
That's
I
so-
love
I
the
haven't
new
yet.
gauntlets.
That's the thing is like
I've
you're always like wanting more and more heavy to the point where I was like, okay, I'm ditching my Helm of Sate and running Rune Wings, and I
Yeah.
upgraded those. And then instantly, like right after that, Brian got the raid gloves, and he's like, "There's like 30 boxes of heavy just everywhere," and
Yeah.
I'm like, "I want those, man."
I did forget to mention one thing about the raid. I saw somebody else do this, and to kill the guys that come out and drop the cannons, I noticed the sword works ridiculously well,
Really?
particularly the Void Sword.
We do Galahorns.
Yeah, so Galahorns kind of work, but he darts around all the time.
Yeah.
So
He's
I
always
run in
in
there
the
with a
back.
sword,
Yeah.
and I just nuke. It's one hit and then a spin, and he's dead.
Which sword? The wolf.
The Void.
Oh.
Because
okay.
you spin on him.
Right,
Because he'll
right.
try and melee you, and he does less damage up close. But if you're far away, you have more of a chance to die.
Cool.
So I've been using that. And then on boss DPS phase, you can stand under him and spin him and still do a ton of DPS
saw
with
you
your
doing
heavy.
that one time. Yeah. It
Yeah.
looks like it does a fair amount of damage.
I tried it out.
It's
It's
actually
good.
really interesting
cool.
because we've I think most Destiny players are like, don't go near the boss, he'll slam you, right? Because every boss has a slam, but
Right.
not this one.
No,
Not this
'cause you gotta
time.
Yeah.
get close
Yeah.
to him to jump on him. So
That was
that's the
part of our
reason why,
strategy.
yeah.
Like, I even switched to, at some point, we decided we had, initially, everyone has DPS problems, right? You're not doing enough damage to them. So we were like, well, what can we do, right? We got a Titan bubble.
Yeah.
We got, Hunter tethers.
This
We were like,
coordination
what
is
about-
really important.
Yeah. We were like, what about melting point? Like, no one uses
Yeah.
Sunbreaker melting point. And I was like, okay, well, I'll
And
do that. I'll slam.
Yeah.
Punch him in the leg.
And
Because he doesn't
warlock
slam you.
and
Yeah.
warlock grenades.
Yeah.
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 And like you get 50% more damage from melting
Yeah.
point. It just stacks. It's great. But where were we going with that?
He was talking about boss strategy, I think.
Raid stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I know. But
We
that
love the
was-
raid a lot.
Yeah, that was
It is
awesome.
a really good raid. The weapons too, I will say, I like the fact, and confirm this because I'm not 100% sure. They drop all the same. There's
Yes,
no perks
yeah.
and rolls on. I like that because ultimately
Infusion fuel. That's why I like it.
that. But even to think about where we're going with, everybody saying, will they create a solution? Oryx had a whole bunch of different drops. So those weapons always had a different perk on them, and so hopefully there's potentially maybe a blueprint coming for this kind of stuff in the future.
Yeah.
I would like to think that potentially was the reason maybe why they didn't do all those kind of perks for the raid weapons. So you didn't have like
Yeah. I
Make-
also don't like the idea that you could do Oryx or whatever and get like a scout rifle, and then someone else would get the same scout rifle, but yours would be better.
on
For
account of
no
just-
other reason than RNG.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. So I get the idea of having unified perks across the board.
Yeah.
That said, the rocket launcher is really, really good, minus the fact that it doesn't have tracking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that
I know.
sucks. Like, I've missed a couple shots, and I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
come on, But,
But
you
there's
can't
a
have it all,
Gallahorn
right?
way
You can't have it all,
here,
yeah.
There's a Gallahorn way.
Well, so
Yeah,
that's the
you
thing
get
is,
an
like-
amazing scout, an okay shotgun, a good rocket launcher.
Okay. I think the shotgun is better than okay. Like, it's not
You like
amazing, but
Yeah.
it's really, I think it's pretty strong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Plus,
I
I like the design of it. Oh,
Yeah.
and that was the
I
other
like
thing.
the design a lot.
Going back to the design real quick, it didn't make sense to me why like the shotgun was a Haka one and like the scout rifle's an Omelon. And I was like, wait a second, these are like, I think it's tied into the lore of who these people are, right? Like that you're fighting. Like I think are these potentially the the Iron Lord's weapons? Is that what they're suggesting to us?
From the raid? No.
Yeah.
No. I don't think so.
But why would they be like?
The Iron Lord's weapons were like what you get from Iron Banner.
Okay.
Jolder's hammer and prunes, whatever.
Well, there's those things, right? Yeah. There's like, what's the machine gun? I forget. Jolder's something.
They didn't die in the raid though. They died in a different place.
No, but they died fighting Siva, and now Siva is taking control of all of this shit.
Thanks,
Beep.
Sean.
There it
Sorry.
is.
Yeah.
I was trying to like it actually. At first, I was like, why would it be Haka and Omelon, right? And then as I thought of it more, it seems like Siva was something that originated by humans, right?
Interesting thought. I don't think that's correct though.
Okay. All I'm
Yeah.
saying is there's probably a deeper lore thing there, and now I actually like that they are
Different.
Yeah.
I think the gun visually is telling a story.
Well,
I don't.
true.
I think you're trying to dig a little deeper, but I think the story is what they decided to show artistically. These weapons are now infected by SIVA, like everything else in the raid was. It's all spliced together, people. But I don't know. Maybe there is more to it. We'll have to watch
Right, but
Bryce's channel to find out.
There it is. Shout out.
Definitely. We do need to talk about some other stuff, though. We could talk about the raid for the whole show. We might get back to it. But Iron Banner is coming back. The temper mechanic is gone. There are now 4 weekly bounties. Bounty rewards include an Iron Banner item not featured on the vendor, a chance at an Iron Banner artifact or vanity item, 25 legendary marks, 750 banner rep, and victory in a match grants 250 reputation. Iron medallions grant 150 reputation each upon victor. Anyway. On this occasion, this is what you're fighting for in addition to other randoms that can be earned by completing bounties. So there's an auto rifle, there's a shotgun, there's some really sweet hunter armor, there is the Titan armor and the Warlock armor. The Titan armor looks a lot like the armor you get from the story.
But this stuff looks cool.
Yeah.
I think
It looks okay, but I think I've liked the other armor in the past.
I don't know, man. The chainmail stuff looks cool.
I like the gold.
But you kind
and
of
the-
get that already with the story stuff that you get.
What?
It's close, yeah.
I haven't seen any
It's
of this.
not different enough, I guess, is what I'm saying for me.
Oh, okay.
This
Yeah.
looks like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
This looks
gotcha.
like medieval armor
Yeah,
type stuff.
I
to
like
me.
that stuff
it.
overall. Yeah, it's got a good look to it. It's not.
Well, all the gear kind of looks like that from the book.
But I mean, more like, well, yes, but more chainmail-y than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah. I'm not saying I hate it.
I also don't have the whole book
Yeah.
unlocked yet. I'm like at level 9 or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, around level 12, you unlock everything, I think. I like it. It's okay, but it's all going to come down to perks. What's the shotgun roll on this? We won't know until, where's the date? It's Tuesday, October 4th at 10 a.m., I think. Correct. Nailed it. And it's Supremacy.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It is supremacy.
Which I'm excited for Supremacy.
I don't know, man.
Cool. No.
Yeah, you're gonna need You're gonna need.
Yeah,
I don't know.
shotguns. You're
Like
gonna have to
if
roll
you're
a
sniping,
squad.
you're not helping your team, basically.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Because if you shoot people before they, they're going to try and run in there and grab a few whatever crests.
Yeah.
That's
Boom, boom,
true.
boom,
That's
shoot
true.
'em in the
Sniping takes a little bit more team coordination because, like,
does.
you got your sniper holding back, and it's like, okay, shotgun guy, you're gonna go in there and get those.
Yeah, go and
crests.
try and grab those.
Because
Yeah.
how often do you play? I mean, I jump into lots of different matches that are, all the 6v6 game types, but rarely do I go in with 6 until Iron Banner.
Yeah.
Be cool to see how this Supremacy thing plays out with 6 people that I am actually playing with all the time that we can communicate and see, how
me
it feels.
and my fire team were talking about what we liked about supremacy, and we just think like as a mode, it's cool because it forces people to move.
Yes.
You know, like you're not being as efficient if you just get the kill and you don't go for the crest. I kind of
Yeah.
like that it incentivizes you to move. But I've said that before. Like that's the same reason I like control, right? Because it makes you go somewhere. You can't just
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think
You
we're gonna,
look like you really had a point there.
no.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that Supremacy is great. I think we're going to talk about this more next week after
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
had
after
more
we try
time
it,
to
yeah.
play it. Like we didn't get time
call.
to. I played 2 rounds of trials today before the show. We've talked about the gear before and stuff. I do want to talk about some of the patch notes though. Sorry guys.
Roger.
So long, Omnigul.
I was going somewhere with that, and I kind of lost it, but I'm trying to salvage it here. Let's go into patch notes. So, 2.4.0.3 is the patch that got rid of the Omnigul farm
Yes.
Farm niggle.
to 365.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Yeah.
to bring everyone up to speed, if you don't know about this,
We talked about it last week.
Okay.
You can, that was
So-
like our main topic last week.
you are all in the know then.
right.
100% of you, every single Guardian out there
Well,
listening.
no,
to the
let
show.
him know quickly.
Yeah, so there's a point when Omnigul appears before the final encounter where if you do enough damage, you can take her out and she actually drops loot. And then you can die.
Yeah.
And she'll spawn.
Rinse,
You'll
repeat.
spawn right. You'll spawn right at that same point, and she's there, and you can keep farming her over and over again.
Now you
and she gives
can't.
you pretty good drops.
Now you can't. I found out about the farm after everybody was pretty close to 365. Fran was doing it. It's not that bad if you just do strikes, though. So some people are saying do Sepix Perfected. This was
Honestly-
very fast.
Honestly, yeah.
But,
Like
yeah.
I think if you can reliably kill her every time, then it became the most efficient way.
Yes,
which
it was.
is why they patched it.
Yeah.
But like my group actually couldn't reliably kill
Drop
her
her.
every time. Yeah, like
It takes a while to get it down.
Well, we'd tether her, and then she'd get like
she'd move
yeah,
annoyingly.
she'd move like
Yeah.
crazily.
You have to
and-
throw one of the grenades at her that make her drunk, basically,
Yeah,
and then she's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing."
But what light level were
Then
you
you kill
at
her.
as well too? Because this is.
I
one
mean,
of the
I
things-
was low. I'm still on
Yeah.
the low side in my fire team, but like, yeah, I was probably at that point like mid 350s or something.
Because when you're at 350s, it was really hard. I think that was one of the things maybe we did an injustice to it last time. It's like you really had to be like brought in by somebody who was a higher light level who could do enough DPS to kill her, or she does get away. I mean, you can
Yeah.
pin her, but you know,
Or sometimes you do enough damage, but you're also not just trying to do the damage to her. You're also trying to keep all those ads under
Ads
control.
away. Yeah.
And like if you don't have a Stormtrance Warlock, or if you don't, I don't know, just blow her up before the ads overrun you, then you end up shooting yourself
Yeah.
with a rocket, or just getting meleeed to death by thralls. It wasn't the most reliable thing, but as Destin said, the reason they patched it out is because if you could do it reliably, then it became by far the most efficient way to farm and get
Yeah.
up there, and that's not really what they want people doing.
And to Fran's-
Same thing with like shooting in a cave,
Yeah.
right? You don't
Yeah.
want people to
Loot
shoot into a cave.
Me too. And to Fran's point, I mean, yeah, he did make a good point. I mean, we kind of joked about his urgency to light level up for the raid.
It should
But-
be spaced out more.
It should
I
be
like
spaced
that
out more.
hard raid's coming weeks away.
Yes.
And I'll read this quote in a
You
second.
enjoy the rest of the content.
Did
so,
you guys talk about
yeah.
that last show? That was
Yeah.
a big discussion point
Yeah.
on Reddit that a lot of people were like,
What, hard mode?
not
No,
hard mode, but
enjoying
that the
the
fact
raid.
that the raid was 3
So
days
close.
after the launch, and
Yeah.
it
I
kind
was
of-
dead when I ran that raid. Like,
Yeah.
I was on like 3 hours of sleep or something
So
crazy.
a lot of Guardians, well, it seems, and this is just a cursory anecdotal approach from me, but like I glanced at Reddit, and it seemed like a lot of people in that community particularly didn't like the idea that they felt
rushed.
very
Yeah.
rushed.
Yeah.
And like they also, a lot of people who are on the more casual side of Destiny felt
Like, you're missing
alienated
out.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
like they're
for sure.
missing out because
Yeah.
they have jobs or kids or whatever, and I get
Launched
that.
on a Tuesday, went live on a Friday,
yeah.
Friday morning.
And
Yeah.
that climb
Yeah.
was honestly, it was
No,
not
it's a
easy.
grind.
It was rough, man.
And without that,
Like I barely made it.
I didn't come
Yeah.
into work on Thursday because I'm like, I'm not going to be ready if I don't
Well, the
just
oth-
play Destiny.
And the
all
other
day.
thing was like,
Yeah.
even at work, you were on
Yeah,
Destiny
like-
Yeah.
the whole time.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe like you were able to survive. I mean, you put in a lot of hours that week, and it was
Yeah.
like
dude,
I played basically as soon as work finished, I played until 2 a.m. every night.
Yeah. Mhm.
So like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night.
You hit,
And
like,
I
370, right?
60. I hit the bare minimum
Yeah, me too.
before
Oh.
raid time. And like,
And then we booted up. We heard it was 360. We booted up, recommended like 370.
370.
It's like, what?
I
yeah,
know.
oof.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the design things. Ghosts and artifacts do not drop that much. And let's read a quote from senior designer Victoria Dolbaum. We were talking about Omnigul getting passed out and everything. This is the first step in a post-launch iterative process. This is from Bungie. Victoria. We're looking into the way Destiny Rise of Iron rewards the completion of activities with items that will increase your light. Currently, our opinion... I got really hooked on the fact that it's our opinion, is that ghosts and artifacts are dropping less frequently than intended. Really? You think?
We know that.
You think you basically have to run
That's been last year, too.
a Taken King mission
Yeah.
to get an artifact.
Yeah.
You know, that's
It's been a while.
the only, or the raid now. You can get them in the raid too.
Yeah.
But those are the only places you can get an artifact. You can level up Eris.
Yeah, which I mean,
for,
that
for
too.
a low chance at getting one.
I know.
Yeah. Ghosts and artifacts making it okay. They're dropping less frequently than intended, making it difficult for players to reach higher light after 365. In the weeks to come, we'll be investigating a solution that provides alternate max light sources for those two slots. Additionally, when the heroic raid is released, many activities and all engrams will increase their maximum light level, basically.
Do we know what it's going to be? Is it 400?
Yes, max is 400.
Right.
We know that.
So they're pretty much saying, "Hey, we took away Omnigul."
No,
but-
hey, we throttled leveling.
Well, yes.
It was a bad idea, and we're going to open up the throttle after hard raid
Yes.
releases. Just open it up now. Like, open it up to 385.
Yeah.
Purples being a joke is not good design.
No, it's not.
I get a purple, and I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
I check it in dim to see if it's got a good roll, like a good percentage roll, but if
Yeah.
it doesn't, I just get rid of it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of jokingly said that last week. Just dismantle your blues, which is not again like I do not advise
Play the game how you
dismantling your
want.
blues. But
I
it is-
dismantle my blues.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is like.
By the
you
way,
know-
thanks. By the way, thanks for pushing out that 385 mark on my Warlock because I had so many blues drop in Archon's Forge.
So that's what I was saying. So within
Yeah.
the context of you get into the raid, you get into Omnigul, you get in all these places that drop a crazy amount of loot and tons of blues. I'm glad that greens don't go to your postmaster. Thank God.
Yeah. They do.
No, greens do not.
Yes, they do.
Greens?
Yes.
No.
Do you want me to show you my footage of a green going to my postmaster?
It went to your postmaster?
Yep.
How?
I don't know,
Because
but
I
it was
think
That's
there.
just the mechanic. If you miss loot, it goes to your
No,
postmaster.
no. If you miss a green engram on the ground, that does not go to your postmaster.
The engram does not. The actual item goes to your postmaster. It
Really?
totally does. Because
my
I had a
gosh.
green in there, and I remember on stream being like,
Where did
"Oh, a
this come
green!
from?"
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the one item
There's,
that pushed out my."
there's footage of Destin freaking out.
I need
Yeah.
to see that. Well, because that was
That's
my
funny.
that was the only reason why I said, hey, when
Twitch.tv/the Destin channel.
Yeah,
where
when
I'm angry all the time.
when
Yeah.
you're farming Omnigul and all these other parts, yeah, like you just don't have the time, and you keep people waiting. Was my
Yeah.
only thing. Like just dismantle a couple blues if you need to, so you don't miss purples or legendaries or
Yeah.
or the exotics.
There's
so.
a Reddit post right now also about this,
Is
and
it? Oh,
Reddit
he's doing
says
that, is there?
Reddit says legendaries and exotics should never be pushed out by a blue or a
No,
green.
they
What
should
are you
not.
doing?
Yeah, 100%. And that,
Like, there's got to be a calculation you put in your code
But
that says,
what do you mean
if,
pushed out though?
because if
So you
if
have-
your vault's full,
yeah,
and
if you have like
can't-
16 vault,
Yeah,
not
and
vault,
never
yeah.
been there.
Okay,
Yeah.
but even if as you're raiding, say if your vault's full and all the slots on your items are full, you
It
get
goes
into
to your
a-
postmaster.
It goes to your postmaster. But if you don't know how many pieces are going to your postmaster, you could potentially miss drops because you're playing a raid and there's a whole bunch of
Yeah,
blues
yeah,
on the
yeah.
ground.
You
should
could
be
miss
able to-
exotic engrams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exotic
So-
engrams get deleted. They're gone.
Yeah,
That's
like,
crazy.
Legendary engrams,
See,
legendary
that's really
items.
interesting because I don't know. My fire
Rare
team will
drops.
speak to this
Yeah.
for me, but I'm so liberal with my dismantling and infusing,
I wish.
like to the point where it's almost a fault. Like a lot of times I'll be screwed out of light because I foolishly dismantled something for marks like
Yeah.
a day ago.
And I get why people do that. I think the biggest issue is now there's another DLC, there's no more vault space, and you're in a situation where you're like going, okay,
Yeah.
I want to test all these weapons out. I don't want to dismantle all my new raid stuff. Everybody's like, oh, well, this is no good. This is no good. So
Right.
you kind of got to go by what other people are saying before you get a chance to actually use it. So that is my only criticism of that. I
Yeah.
wish you could decide to either set a postmaster like toggle switch, or there'd be a way for you to actually dismantle the engram on the ground in the world without it actually going into your inventory first.
yeah,
because
like
that's
what about
the issue?
what about
I wanna
all
hit
green
X
items just
to-
auto decrypt and become materials?
That's
in your
been something
inventory?
we've asked
That
since
too.
vanilla.
Yeah,
You know?
Or
'Cause
and
who
then blue-
uses those?
But blue's the same thing. Like just auto
Low-level
decrypted
players.
or yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
the
maybe
problem.
they auto decrypt after you hit max level.
Yeah.
So that's the other piece
Or
that I
only
want to
in the
mention real
tower.
quick is you're in the same position where you're trying
Just
to like
toggle an option on if you want them to auto
grind
decrypt.
up, and then you're playing a match and your other items are low, and you're just like, oh, I didn't equip my one thing before the end of the drop, so I'm stuck at 360 whatever because I don't have all the different pieces at max light level all the time. Like it should know your max light, so you don't constantly need to equip those things. So it's not a situation where, oh whoops,
You're switching out
I
gear
didn't
all
make
the
my
time, yeah.
Guardian 370, but I was playing with 368 things because I like those weapons. So
Real quick,
really-
what light level are you all?
I'm 384.
I think I'm 370 now.
Gosh,
Yeah.
you guys are outpacing me. I'm 369 still. I'm having trouble hitting that 370.
Yeah, it's tough.
You're okay
getting in
though.
that 370.
You're fine to do the normal raid.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, and my
Yeah.
and the other thing is like
Yeah.
my fire team is hardcore. Like Brian over there is like 388 or 389 or
That's
something. I'm
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
what the crazy? Like, how did you
Yeah.
guys get that?
And
high?
I'm wondering
We
about
need-
trials too. I know we
Yeah.
need to wrap it up. That is what I'm excited to see.
I'm 381 for trials with a good gear. With
wow,
Antis.
really? I'm like 350s.
I very carefully look at my gear before I do anything. Like I
Yeah.
use Dim. I actually use their loadout builder, and I start looking like, okay, what has the best roll? What's at the bottom of the roll chart?
Yeah.
This one has a lower roll than this in strength, 100% roll.
Yeah.
I can straight up delete this one or use it for infusion fuel, and I'm very strategic about that.
So I'm hoping to roll with I have a couple trials buddies, Steven and Press, and a few other people where I know they're
Yeah.
higher light levels, and I'm going, okay, you need to help me because at 370, I know I'm going to be super low for
You're
trials.
okay.
But I still want to do
370
it.
It's
is gonna
not that
be low
bad.
for trials.
Well,
you think?
Yeah.
think about it. People who are done the rating
Gotta
with
be
these
like-
390 weapons.
Gotta be like 375, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think.
Didn't-
We need to wrap it up, guys. So let's hold that thought for next week after we've all played Trials.
More Destiny.
And can discuss it. I do want to end with one positive note from all of us about Rise of Iron and what we've enjoyed. I just want to say that the Kvostov quest and the Galahorn quest for those exotics are absolutely phenomenal. The story that's told in them is great. It's nostalgic, and I loved going through those experiences for the first time. So that's my positive note, Sean.
I really liked that the campaign fleshed out a little bit more of who Lord Saladin is and the experience he went through. I thought it was so good that I wanted to be more of it, though. Like, I wish we had gotten Lord Saladin's perspective as well as the other fallen, Iron Lords. Like, I thought that would have been really cool. But I really liked the campaign. I thought it was cool, and I wanted more of it.
Campaign was a little short. Raid, though, awesome. Like, just being back into it and, getting a chance to meet a whole bunch of people. Again, I mean, we talked about this community thing a while back. Probably 10 people in the last 3 days I've played with that I've never played with before. Now, all of a sudden, because you do this raid and you do this, like, major accomplishment in the game, you're like, hey, we're best friends for life.
Yeah.
In the context of Destiny. I mean, you do feel that way.
Or I'm never talking to Destin again. Yeah.
Or I forgot your name, but do this. No, it's fun. I mean, I actually really like playing with you. I think all those things, like, those pieces of the raid are what makes it exciting. Like, I love seeing...
High stakes, man.
Yeah, high stakes. I love seeing people get animated. I think it's hysterical when you do, but again, I love it, and it's part of the raid. It's
you guys got to go give Brian crap. He was so pissed last night. It was so funny.
It's a piece of the puzzle.
I like people that plays like Panda. He's like, oh, I'm playing with Raid Destin right now. So like
he knows you got a mode.
Yeah, he's like, all right, he's in raid mode. Like,
let's go.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
Anyway, speaking of community, we actually just did a feature where we feature 11 really fantastic Destiny community pieces, just fan-made creations and stuff like that. You can check it out on IGN.com and YouTube. Nice. It's really cool. I worked with Mike Ransky on it, and he asked me to promote it, and it came out really well, and we promote some great Destiny fan creations.
Plus, if you're into Destiny, you're going to like this stuff because, the fan creations are awesome.
They're really, really cool.
Nice.
That's
Destin
scary.
just might have lost his audio.
Hopefully they can
check that
later.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. On that note, we should probably wrap it up, though. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, Guardians out.